All right, I'm going to start. I got everybody on mute. If people come in, I'll go back and let them in. I just thought that almost every day I'm going to do a little 10-minute training, and I'll just do it just like I did. We always have the training on Fridays at noon, but I'm just going to do this like every day just to get some training out there. Today I'm just going to do 10 minutes or so on backagent. And again, I can't tell you how important it will be to go to YouTube. And that's for people that don't know. YouTube, once it loads, and I'm going to put this on later today, but you're going to go to DHS Realty's YouTube page. And when you go there, you'll notice I have playlists right here. And when you click on playlists, there's just no excuses not to be able to watch every one of these. Now, don't have to worry about this one. That's just videos I like. But backagent, that's what we're about to do now. I'm going to load it. So there'll be 7 videos there. I've got 3 on zip forms. I've got 5 on MLS. You can see I've got agent orientation for visitors. And then I have tenant, landlord, meet Doug, homebuyer seminar, seller, and at the bottom, buyer. So there's just no excuses. Last night I had an agent call me, and I sent her these videos, and she watched them last night. And this morning she sent me a completely perfect contract, all based on watching these 3 videos. So we do need to, it matters to me, and that's what you'll never find at another brokerage firm, that it matters to me that Francis is successful, that Showru, that Casey, anybody that joins us. I care more than I believe any broker will, but I also have to have you guys, put in some effort. So I always like to say it's got to matter to you, and it does matter to me. So let's go into backagent, and this should be recording. So number one, the website is dhsrealty.backagent.net, and I have that actually saved on my home screen of my phone. So I don't have the app. I have this exact website. And when you go to the website, you're going to have a login. That is your specific login. So I won't know it. And this will be your screen that opens up every time, except your picture will be in the right corner. So I'm just going to cover some things real quick. By default, you're at the start menu. We don't use it that much because of GroupMe. We're very much intertwined with each other on a day-to-day basis, almost second by second. So I don't post a lot on here. I'm going to cover first these 2 tabs, and then I'm going to load a transaction. So anytime that you want to know where somebody is, how to reach them, all you do is, again, this is your default. You just go to people. And right here, let's say I wanted to find out Francis. Well, you can see that I have marked first name. So all I go is FRAN and hit find, and it's going to pull up Francis. It's also going to pull up Franco because I put FRAN. If I put FRA, it's also going to pull up Francis and Franco. If I put FRANCE, it's going to pull up one person, Francis. If I wanted to find Showru, Show, SHO. If I didn't know their first name, but I knew their last name, I could type in Smith. It'll pull up everybody with Smith as a last name. So again, I don't like to reply back to you to go to backagent and hit people, but at some point I will be doing that just because it's more efficient for me than to look them up on my phone. And that'll always be a way to find people. And you can, again, do it by first name, you can do it by last name, or you can click any name. Okay. And that's always going to be a resource. And all it is people. Okay. Now, office, again, we're at the start menu. Okay. And there's people we just covered. And now we're going to go to office. When you go to office, I always say go to documents. So again, we're at the start menu. We will go office, documents, quick resources. And there's 40 resources here. That is our W-9 for this year. You will need this for any leases and most of the new home builders. You can send it to yourself and keep it on your phone, and you'll never have to go here again. And that's what I would recommend. But if you want to come here, that's where it's at. If you click on that, it'll open. If you send it, you'll send it as a PDF. Send it to yourself and keep it on your phone. That's what I would recommend. All these other things are just marketing, logos, and you can use whatever logo you want, or you can use your own logo. All we require is DHS Realty, half the size of your biggest contact information. When you see these little bullet points, those are things that I've recently loaded. That's an open house sign-in sheet. I'll be printing one as I do an open house this weekend, 12 to 2, an Inspiration at 1815 Morning Mist. And thank you, Francis. I'm getting a sign made, and they're just going to duplicate yours and just put my name and phone number. And afterwards, I'll have it for anybody to use, just like Francis. She has offered her sign for anybody that needs one if they get a listing and Inspiration. That subdivision has requirements for their signage. So anyways, I'll be clicking that and doing an open house sign-in sheet. A lot of y'all refer your business to different agents, either inner office or outside of the state or another area in the state or another country. And this is your referral form. And all you do is open it, and it's pretty self-explanatory. There'll be a receiving office, a referring office. You'll put your name, our brokerage address, your phone number. You can sign it for me. I don't need to sign it. On a second page, it'll say you're getting a blank percentage. Usually the rule of thumb is anywhere from 25 to 30% for a referral. And then you will, it says how long does this referral form last? I usually put NA because it should be forever. And it'll be 30% of the sales price. As you scroll down, okay, you're going to see another bullet point, and this is all of our sponsors. So I also think that that's important to put on your phone. I post it on GroupMe every week, and it's always going to be a good idea to just save that into your notes so you'll have it. And you have all the sponsors, and of course you can use your own people as well. What I would appreciate is on GroupMe, not to advertise for somebody unless you run it by me first, because we do have sponsors that they pay to keep my fees low. That trickles down to you guys. So we have a Christmas party, December 2nd. It costs about 25 grand. Well, I'm not having to pay for it, and neither are you, because we have sponsors that pay me each year. I put it in an account, and that's all I spend it for, is for events. So I don't want you putting a roofer on GroupMe or a home inspector. What I refer you to do is, if somebody asks, they're always going to put their cell phone, and then you text them directly, and you can say, hey, here's an inspector. But we do have sponsors that I like to use. You're not obligated to use them, but I do macro manage, so I don't go to GroupMe and tell you what to post and not to post. But if I see you recommending people, I do want you to run it always by me first, because the people we recommend are really me recommending them. And but again, you can use who you want. So I'm a macro manager. I don't get involved in the day-to-day of your business. And Francis, for instance, and I've got another agent, Jasmine, they're going to be brokers before long, and they'll have a decision if they want to stay with me or go on their own. And most of them will probably stay. And the reason is because I macro manage. So even you as a sales agent, you are almost like a broker, because I'm not like you're a puppet and I'm holding the strings and having you move your arms and stuff like that. So, having a broker's license is great. I absolutely recommend it for everyone in our company, because it always gives you the ability to travel your own course. I would love for you to stay with me, but I think it's the most sincere compliment when somebody leaves and starts their own brokerage firm, because I'm going to help them. I'm going to give them advice if they want it for free and help build them up, because there's no better celebration in my life than to see you guys succeed. So that's the miscellaneous page. There's a letterhead right there. And again, if you go up, you can see all types of things. And really the ones that are bullet pointed are the ones that are the ones that you use on a day-to-day basis. All right. Now let's go back to the start menu, and let's talk about loading a transaction. So again, I'm going to load this and put it on backagent also. On the backagent YouTube playlist, but you're going to always go to dhsrealty.backagent.net, dhsrealty.backagent.net. I like to save it as a home screen on my phone, so I can do this on my phone, and I do it most of the time. If I'm on a laptop, I'm going to go here, and now we're going to say that we're loading a transaction. Now, when I say we're loading a transaction, you can actually put a transaction in here as soon as you get an IBS signed, or buyer rep, or a client for that matter. So what you're going to do is hit transactions. And when you hit transactions over here, you're going to see a button that says add a transaction. And when you click on it, you basically have 4 options. And most of this is just going to be common sense. Residential would be for a sale or a lease. Apartment would be for leasing. Commercial would be commercial, and a referral would be if you're getting a referral from another agent, because there's very minimal paperwork needed. So if you're getting a referral from another agent, that check is always made out to DHS Realty. I get it here, but then I have to match it with an address in backagent. So every transaction has to be loaded in backagent, and there are only 4 options. Most of the time, it's going to be residential, so you would click on it. Then you would basically have to ask yourself, is it a lease or a sale? Most of the time, it's going to be a sale. But even on a lease, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to click one of the 2. You only have 2 options. So let's talk about a sale right now, a buyer. You're going to click on it. At this stage, you have 5 options. I like to tell everybody to go to pre-closing. On a lease, it'll say pre-move-in right here. But an easy way to do it is always mark the 4th box. If you always mark the 4th box, you don't even have to read what it says. So at this stage, you will skip start showing contract and always, always, always go to pre-closing. Then you have to pick who you're working with. You're either working with a seller or a buyer, or that would be an intermediary. And that would simply be that there's either you or another agent, and you're working a transaction where the listing is with DHS Realty. If there's 2 brokers, you'll never mark this, ever. If there's 2 brokers involved, it'll be this one or this one. If there's 1 broker involved, it will be this one, period. Okay? So that means you're working both sides, seller and buyer. That's an intermediary. So we go to seller. Let's just say that's what we're doing. Or let's do buyer, because that's most likely what you'll work with first. So you're going to click on buyer. It's going to say select the client. So we're going to put in here, the buyer's name. And then right here, I just put buyer again and buyer again. I don't care. Right here, if you mark this box, you don't have to put the email in, and you would just put the phone number. And I'll be straight up. If you want to put 972-555-1212, that's fine with me, because again, this is your transaction, and I'm not ever going to reach out to your buyer. It's your client. It's just in the brokerage firm. So I don't need the phone number of any of your client. So you can, if you want, put the phone number of your client, or you can just do it just like this. Put the real buyer's name, Francis Chappell, buyer, mark that. You don't have to put the email, and then put either their phone number or a generic phone number. And then when you hit add, boom, you have them there. And then all you do is hit this little tab here. You can see it's the only tab left, create new transaction. At this screen, you're going to see 4 orange boxes. The reason you see 4 orange boxes is because remember when I told you to click that 4th tab, pre-closing? It automatically tells you what you have to fill out in order to submit a CDA, which is called a commission disbursement authorization. So if you click that 4th box, or let's say you forgot and you only had this box marked, here at this stage, go here and always hit pre-closing. Even if you've never shown a property to this client, you already have them in here, so they're in as a contact. And now, because you pick pre-closing, all you'll ever have to do is go left to right and gray out these orange boxes. So the first box is going to be property search, and you're going to click on it, and you'll see that the only thing that you have is to hit set property, and then you scroll down and you have 2 options. You can pull it from the MLS, or you can add it as a basic yourself. I always try to pull it from the MLS. It's super easy. But let's say that we're not doing that and it's a new build. Well, then you're going to hit add now, because it probably isn't in the MLS. You're going to put the address. Let's just say it's 1815 Morning Mist. Okay, you'll go down to the city. You'll do a zip code. And I'm just going to put in a generic zip code. And then you put in a price. That would be what you're going under contract at. And this would be the address of the property. You would hit set property and watch that orange box disappear. Okay, so again, that was orange. Now it's gray. Now you go to the next box, contacts, and you just gotta start from the basics. So we go down here to title company. And again, sometimes you'll have the title company already in here. A lot of us close it truly. So if you just typed in Roxanne, ROX, you'll see there's Roxanne. You click her, and it pre-fills, and you hit select contact, and you can see now we're down to 2 contacts. Before there was 4, okay? Now you go over here to add seller. And again, on the contract, you put in the seller's name. And then you hit add contact, and you have the seller there. And then you have to put the seller's name, the agent's name. So this will be Mr. Seller Agent. Okay, and obviously it's going to be the real name. Right here, I really don't care if you put their office. You could just put agent. And then again, mark this box. You don't have to put the email and put in their phone number if you want, or you can do 555-1212. Because again, just remember, you have all these contacts in your phone because you are on a day-to-day basis communicating with the buyer and the listing agent and the title company. So then it'll say, do you want to add it in the community or private? Just do private. And now you'll see that that box went gray. So now we're here on dates and info. We go to dates and info, and these are going to be some questions that you got to answer, and they don't have to be exact, but they should be close. Will another party get a referral fee? No. When was a contract executed? Let's just say it was executed on the 3rd. What's the closing date? I mean, these are just, or how many days are the option? Let's just say there was 5. How long was the buyer's pre-approval? Usually it's 21 days. Again, not all this has to be exact. We're just trying to get through this tab to make the orange tab go gray. Who's going to buy the survey? Let's say it's buyer. How many days are there for the survey? Let's say there's 14. Again, these aren't important as much as a couple of them, which is the closing date. That's always going to be important. So let's just say that we're closing the 31st of May. You hit save. And again, this question is the agent in your brokerage is talking about intermediary. If it's a no, then put no. If it's a yes, then put yes. So under this scenario, hypothetically, let's say there's 2 brokers, it would be a no. What type of property is this? Well, it's probably going to be a 1 to 4. It could be a condo, farm and ranch, or land. When is the property, what is the ownership? It's going to be probably conventional. It could be a new build. Was it built before 78? That would prompt you to have a lead-based paint addendum. Let's say this is a new home. We're going to put no. Is there an HOA? Again, if you put no, there won't be an addendum for HOA required. If you put yes, there will be. Is there a water mud? That's a municipal urban development. Sometimes subdivisions have that. In this scenario, we're going to say no. Is there a floodplain? You'll know. It's usually a no. What's the sales price? We're going to say it's $550. We hit save. What type of financing? Let's just say it's going to be conventional. You can ignore these. And now we're down to our last question. What is the actual closing date? And we put the 31st. Now I hit save and watch that orange box disappear. All right, this is the one that's probably the most confusing, and it's really not if you just breathe. We hit documents, we scroll down, and it's going to tell you what you need in order for me to sign off on this deal. So under this scenario, we are going to, just to make this quick, we are going to act like the buyer declined to sign the IBS and the buyer rep. And you called me and I told you, hey, just send them an email and tell them that they really should sign it. It'll make you their advocate. You called them. They said, no, I don't want to sign it. You called me back and I approved it. I said, that's okay. You don't have to get it because we've already sent them a number of emails. Obviously, we want them to get it. But if they say they want to be a customer, that's their right in Texas. So all you would do is if you have it or you don't, you hit required, and you're either going to attach it or you're going to request an exemption. So let's say they initial the IBS because it's a disclosure. Now we have to go find it. So you hit attach. It's going to ask you where to find it on your computer. You just keep going through a process until it opens up where it's at on your computer. You're going to scroll down. You're going to look for the IBS. You're going to select it and hit open, and you're going to see it load in front of you. There it is, and I'm going to hit add page. I'm going to go up here and hit create document, and I'm going to hit just some basic next, which is save document. And you can see that now when I scroll down, it's on file. Let's say they would not sign the buyer rep agreement. You can hit request exemption. And in this little paragraph, you need to put something. So you can just put a T or A or whatever, or you can put talked to Doug. hit request exemption. And you'll see now there's 3 documents needed. All right, so on a new home, you usually don't get a third-party financing addendum. What happens is you get the whole contract from the builder. So on a new build, there will be no seller disclosure. So you will hit request exemption. If there is one, you know how to load it now. Okay. You could do that, or you could just say build job. You hit request exemption, and there's going to be 2 documents now needed. You scroll down. On a new home build, there is no third-party financing addendum. On a home, there is, so you either attach it or you'll request an exemption. And again, right here, you would just put new build, hit request exemption, and now we're down to the last document. And this will almost conclude our training, nice and quick. Required now, you're gonna get the contract, hit attach document, you're gonna hit upload again, you gotta go find the file. It's going to ask you where it's at. You're going to look for it. And again, I'm going to load something that might not be an actual contract, but you would find it here, and it would say, you know, something like new home contract. Okay. Let's just say it was this, but instead of saying Bruno executed contract, let's just say it said First Texas executed contract. You would check it, you would hit open, and you'll see the contract load. And it'll take a while, maybe not that long, but it'll load. And you'll have the option of selecting each page individually or checking a box that says include all pages. And when you check the box, include all pages, they'll all load. So you just calm down and wait. You'll see it's loading, and we're at about 90%. And then you'll see that it's going to verify and optimize the file. And you scroll down, you're not touching anything, and there's going to be 10 things that load. Now I can each add these individually, or I can just check that box. Let me scroll up a little so you can see what happens. I can just check this box and it'll add them all right there. And then I hit create document, and notice what I'm going to have to say continue, just like save document. Now notice what happened. I have no more orange boxes, and look what went yellow, the submit button. So I'm going to hit submit, and I'm going to hit create request. And now I'm in the CDA. So I've got the email there, I've got the address, and right here, I hit this little calculator, and it already has the price. So let's say I'm getting 3%, it already did the math. That's why I tell you, you never need math. You hit update, and you can see that there's your commission. Now, y'all will have $225 right here. And you can see that your commission went down by $225. Let's say that you were gonna pay some money to a buyer. You would hit add payout, contribution to buyer. Right here, you could put $3,000. And now your commission was reduced, so you're not paying taxes on that $3,000. You can see that right here, you might be paying a referral. And if so, you put that, and you're paying a referral to $2,000 to Keller Williams. Remember, when you pay a referral, it's never to the specific agent, it's to the broker. All right, so now you can see that right here, do not touch this. This is for your gain. This is table funding. That means the check is made out to you at closing. And you can get in touch with the title company a week before closing and get wiring instructions, so there's no hold on your check. So don't ever uncheck mark that. Leave it alone. All you do is hit create funding request. And you can see there it says title company phone is required. So you go up here, and you can put the real number, or you can put 972-55. You're going to be in touch with the title company anyway. You hit create funding request, and the next screen, you have 2 options. You're going to hit continue to next step, and you're going to answer 5 yes questions. You'll never have submitted it if you don't answer those 5 yes questions. Once you answer the 5 yes questions, it'll say submit transaction. And now it says waiting for document approval. At that moment, I get an email, and I will review it and send it to you. And I copy the title company on the commission disbursement authorization. So this is when you're done. And the neat thing about it is that was pretty quick. And at this point, training is over, because that's kind of how I roll here. I try to make it quick and to the point, and that way you get in and get out and you can move on. So I'll be doing this probably about once a day, and I'll just add kind of ad hoc. I'll go on GroupMe and just say, hey, I'm going to do some training. Anybody that wants to dial in, do it. And if you want, you can. Either way, I'm going to post it. It's going to be on GroupMe and on YouTube, and I'll put it under the playlist. Y'all have a great day, and anything you have, just let me know. I'll be available till midnight.